A couple of weeks ago I talked about the Earthquaker C Machine chorus pedal, which is a really versatile, powerful chorus pedal that does a lot more than just standard chorus and gets some really beautiful, amazing sounds. But like a lot of complex pedals, you're going to need to read the instructions, experiment a lot, get to adjust various combinations of 6 different settings, and maybe that's a bit much. Maybe you're just looking for something straightforward, something a little easier and more classic sounding, and if that's the case, then the Boss Chorus CE-2 is probably something you should consider. This is a classic pedal, classic sound. You've heard this sound all over the place, you'll recognize it, and it's pretty straightforward to use. It only has 2 controls on the pedal, rate and depth. Rate controls how quickly that sweep happens, whether it's a sort of a slow, gradual wave, or whether it's a very quick wave that's more of a kind of a wobbling, vibrato-ish kind of sound, and depth controls how deep the wave goes. And that's it, which is a lot less complicated than some of the other pedals, but it is beautiful and it is lush. So let me just take you through some of the basic settings on this and you can get a sense for how this thing sounds. So this is my dry sound, and I'm running my Fender Mustang Vintage 66 through a Vox amp. And with the dry sound, the Mustang has a beautiful dry sound. Putting the chorus pedal on with the settings at 0, the settings may be at 0, but it doesn't mean there's no effect at all. It's subtle, but it's there, and that's a pretty cool thing to add just to lift up a solo or to distinguish the guitar sound. Dry sound. And with a little distortion. You can definitely hear the difference between the dry and the chorus when the distortion is added as well. Bringing both settings, rate and depth, to about a quarter. Let's just see how that sounds. Pretty recognizable. You've definitely heard sounds like that before. Let's bring everything to 12 o'clock. So definitely a beautiful classic rock sound. Let's just bring them to 3/4 of the way up. And it's approaching that kind of Leslie rotating cabinet vibe. Bringing the settings all the way up just really amplifies that a bit more. At the extreme, you might not want to use some of those settings. They're a little less for playing a full song or playing a full solo and more for just sporadic effects because they're a little bit extreme. It's a little bit seasick. Taking both settings to just below the halfway mark still keeps it in the more subtle end. about the years when this was released, 79 to 92. That's the entire 80s right there, which is why where it kind of has an 80s vibe to it. Just keeping the rate where it is and bringing the depth all the way up. Those settings, so just give the rate, go a little crazy with the rate, but just bring the depth off so we keep more of the dry sound in there. This is a nice combination because the rate gets a little more oscillatory, but it's not quite as seasick because the depth is rolled back a bit. Everything all the way up gets us back to that Leslie cabinet sound. Some other interesting settings, I've heard about some of these online, looking at some other videos that I've tried out. So 210 is an interesting one. Got a nice classic rock sound, especially with the distortion layered on. And then one more sound that I found online in one of the other videos. I was perusing just to see how other people are using this. This one I hadn't used so much myself. It's I guess what's called a 3/9, and this is definitely referred to as a kind of a classic rock sound from the late 70s, early 80s. Just really two settings on the pedal, you can see that you still have a beautiful range of sounds, and they're all super cool sounds. So if you're not crazy about investing in some overly complicated chorus pedal that you've got to really play quite a bit to get the feel of, you want the simplicity or you want the classic sound, for both of those reasons, the Boss Chorus CE-2, you can't go far wrong. Highly recommend. You can pick them up on Reverb. My understanding is they don't make specifically this model anymore because they've updated it to the newer model. And I'll include the link to the Boss website where you can browse around and have a look at the newer models. But I'll also include a link to reverb.com. It's a great place to get secondhand equipment, and these things are going for $200 to $400 on there, I see. So they can be a little pricey, but definitely worth it to add to your arsenal. So thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you're notified. Also hit the like button if you have comments on this pedal or other chorus pedals that you tried that I should check out. Always keen to learn more from the guitarist musician community out there. Thanks for watching.